Assalamu alaikum. This is Sajadur Rahman. Thank you so much for your positive feedback, likes, and views on my previous video on 1123 English Language Paper 1. The purpose of this video is to revise the concepts and techniques of GCE 1123 English Language Paper 2 for my students. I hope this little introductory video on Paper 2 reading will help you all. Paper 2 reading. Well, 1 hour 45 minutes will be given to you. Paper 2 has 50 marks. This paper has two sections. Section 1, reading for ideas. Section 2, reading for meaning. In reading for ideas, that is section 1, you need to mention content points or main points, which will have 15 marks. You have to write a summary, which will have 5 marks. You have to answer short questions, which will have 5 marks, and the questions will include fact and opinion question or true and false, etc. In section 2, 20 marks reading for section 2, reading for meaning. 20 marks will be given for question answers and 5 marks for the meanings. These are some objectives of paper 1, of section 1 and 2, which examiner expects from you. In section 2, passage 2, you need to understand explicit meanings through literal, quotation and vocabulary questions. You need to understand implicit meanings and nuisance of language through inferential own words and questions on writer's craft. So, in section 2, which is passage 2, you need to understand explicit and implicit meanings. We'll talk about it later. In section 1, reading for ideas, you need to scan and analyze text by identifying and summarizing required information such as similarities and differences or advantages and disadvantages. They will provide you 2 boxes, or problems and solution, or causes and effects, or actions and consequences. Identify and respond to main ideas of a text, such as follow a sequence or argument, identify conclusion, distinguish fact from opinion, and give a personal response to a theme in a text. Section 1, reading for ideas. It has 25 marks. Candidates can a factual communication or communications of approximately 700 words. Usually in section 1, they do not give you a story. They give you a factual communication or factual passage. They identify and note down required information. Example means you need to identify and note down the required information as a student. Like in similarities box, for example, if they are asking similarities, you need to write similarities of that particular idea, topic, and differences, or causes and effects, or advantages and disadvantages, or problems, solution, or actions and consequences. 15 marks are allocated for content points. Candidates use these notes to write a summary of 160 words. 10 words will be already given to you in summary part. Candidates use these notes to write a summary, means the notes which you took out in the first session, you have to connect them, you have to write in your own words in summary. 5 marks are allocated for language and 5 for own words. Well, you'll be confused over here because summary is of 5 marks, but here 5 marks allocated for language and 5 for own words. That is for the examiners only. What they do is they take your 5 mark summary as 10 marks, 5 marks for the language, means sentence structure, vocabulary, own words, and most of the grammar portion comes into these 5 marks, and 5 for the own words. There will be short answer questions like fact, opinion, true, false, etc. worth 5 marks. Section 1, reading for ideas. Passage 1. Well, passage 1 will be a factual or discursive passage. Note making. Write at least 15 content points excluding the given examples. One example will be given in each box. They'll provide you 2 boxes. The student may write more than 15 if you want, except own words or lifting. However, own words are not recommended as they may cause confusion while writing the summary, which should be in own words. Except sentences or note form. However, if they are sentences, they should not be entirely verbatim. Left details should be deleted. Be careful. If you are taking out notes from a specific passage, if you are just lifting the whole sentence, please delete the details. If written in phrase, then the point should be sensible. For example, if you are not taking the whole sentence, if you are just taking a phrase, then it should be a sensible phrase. For example, if you write extermination carried out for what? It's not clear, then your phrase is incomplete and you will not score any mark. The correct one is extermination carried out for reward. Your sentence should be very much clear. Focus on the main idea of the subject. Give no details or examples in the main points. If point is made in the wrong box or out of the box, do not award the mark. If more than one content point appears under a single bullet point, award each content point if correctly made. If you are writing 2 important points in one bullet, you'll be awarded 2 marks. Points should be in order, but if not in sequence, they are acceptable. Try to write in sequence. Spelling and grammatical errors are not penalized here in main content points, fortunately. Present information in the text rather than introducing material from your own knowledge. Please do not include any sort of information which is not present in the passage. In summary writing, use notes to compose a piece of formal, continuous prose. Students may write the summary in 1 or 2 paragraphs. Use of own word is mandatory. In use of English, serious errors are penalized. At least 15 points should be used to compose the summary, and that 15 points you'll take from your content points. For example, wrong form will be penalized. Serious tense errors, serious errors of sentence structure, especially in setting up subordination, omission of obvious misuse of preposition, wholesale misunderstanding over the meaning of words used, serious errors of agreement, ingrained weakness of punctuation, that is the habitual comma replacing necessary full stop, misspelling of a minor nature count as a serious error when the form of a word is severely mangled, obvious slips of repetition or omission, breakdown of sense. Be very much careful in summary writing. Well, the mark scheme for summary writing is a bit different. They do give you a 5-mark summary, but examiner will have this summary descriptor. They will give you 5 marks for your own words separately, and for use of English in summary writing, 5 marks separately. Now, in your examination, you have only 5 marks. But in the marking key, you have 5 plus 5, 10. Please do not get confused. What happens is, for example, if you are getting 5 here, 5 here, so 5 here, they will be added. 5 plus 5 is equals to 10, and 10 will be divided by 2. For example, if you get 4 marks in own words and in summary portion, and 5 marks for use of English in your summary, then overall you will have 9 marks. Your 9 marks will be divided by 2, and the result will be 4.5. Fortunately, according to maths rules, you will score 5, because 4.5 will be what you could say, 4.5 will be what they say, rounded off in 5. Section 1, reading for ideas. Summary. Write the notes in your own words. Instructions for summary. Practice the use of connectives such as nevertheless and furthermore. Writing draft answers in pencils before going over in pen can cause problems with legibility and is best avoided. You can write with any handwriting which is legible, which is readable by the examiner. But if you are writing with a handwriting which is not legible, which is not readable by the examiner, you will lose marks. Short question answer. Read the rubrics, short question answers of fact and opinion question or true and false question. Read the rubrics properly. Rubrics properly. Do not tick more than one box if instructed. If they are saying click, tick only one box, please click and tick only one box. In personal opinion and experience questions, do not include examples mentioned in the passage. If they are telling, if they are asking you about your opinion, please do not add the opinion mentioned in the passage. Give your own. In critical skills questions, short answer questions, write or distinguish fact from opinion. They might ask you to identify conclusion, for example, true and false or CT, can't tell. Take off the correct answer, write the conclusion. Give personal knowledge, experience. Do not quote any example from the passage. Reading for meaning. Reading for meaning is section 2 and it has 25 marks. Candidates read a narrative passage, example, report, article, story of approximately 700 words. They then answer short answer questions, testing their ability to understand the language, both explicit and implicit meanings. Attempting explicit questions are easy and implicit questions are difficult to attempt. Well, explicit questions might be, they might give you literal questions, quotation questions, vocabulary question or own word questions. In implicit portion, they'll give you inferential or writer's craft question. Attempting these questions are easy if you have practiced. For the attempting these questions, you need a lot of analytical skills. Explicit questions. Your explicit questions might be literal questions, quotation, own words, or vocabulary questions. For literal questions, the answer of such question is quite obvious. Furthermore, the keyword in the question directs you towards the answer. Find the keyword in the question, easily you will answer it. Quotations. A single word or phrase from the passage is to be extracted. They'll give you a question, they'll ask you to extract or find out a phrase of that line. They'll ask you about the meaning. However, following instruction is very important here. A single word means single word. If they are asking you to answer in single word, you have to answer in single word. If you'll answer it in a phrase, you lose marks. Own words. The reader needs to look for the keywords in the passage and replace them using their synonyms. Synonyms. The number of marks tells the number of keywords to be found. In own words questions, you need to find the synonym of a specific word or phrase. Vocabulary. Adwords. 8 words will be given, only 5 words meaning ought to be written. Here, a synonym or description of that word within 7 words is required. Yet the meaning should be according to the context. This is important. Do not write any meaning. In English language, a single word has got number of meanings. You need to write the meaning according to the line which is written after the word. So please be very much careful. Implicit questions. Inferential questions. The reader is expected to think about the ideas given in the passage and derive a conclusion. You'll be given a task and you will derive an idea. Writer's draft. Here the reader means student, that is you, should mention the effect the writer wants to create through his words. He'll not directly tell you what he's saying. So you need to decode his phrases, his metaphors, his figurative language. Paper 2, reading for meaning. Read the passage thoroughly before answering the questions. Candidates should read all questions wordings thoroughly. Merely glancing at it sometimes results in a crucial instructions being missed. To deal with a passage written as a first-person narrative, candidates should practice answering questions in the third person only. If your narrative in passage 2 is written in first person, for example, if the writer say I was in the jungle, then you need to answer it like, and if you mention the same line in your answer, then you need to write it like he was in the jungle. You will not write in the first person. Answer the questions precisely considering what is demanded by them. For that, you need to read the question very carefully. Answer outside the parameters or on any other page can result in parts of a response not being seen by the examiner. Please please do not write out of the parameters or lines or the boxes provided to you by the examiner. Avoid annotating scripts with unnecessarily confusing arrows, ticks, or crosses. Some candidates include the insert with their question paper booklets. This is also a practice which should be discontinued. What you need to do for explicit meaning questions. If the question is literal one, candidates have to distill their own answer from the text. Avoiding the use of direct speech. If the question is a quotation question, candidates are advised that when the rubric specifies a one-word answer, they should follow this instruction. If the question is vocabulary question, provide contextual meaning of words. It is advisable in all questions, including the vocabulary question, to avoid offer in a number of alternative responses, as only the first response will be marked important. If you think you are writing 3 meanings of one word and you think you are confused that your second meaning might be right, or first one or the third one, CIE examiner will consider your first meaning only. They will not consider your second and third attempt, even if your third or second attempt is a very right option. So be very much careful. Do not give alternate response in vocabulary portion. Implicit meaning questions. Draw the inference from a sensible context linked to the text. Own words. Identify the keywords in such questions and substitute these keywords with your own. Synonyms will work for you. Writer's craft. Relate to the effect created by the phrase. You need to find out. You need to dig out the effect. Quick review. Paper 2 is consist of section 1 reading for ideas and section 2 reading for meaning. In section 1 has 25 marks, 15 marks for main points, 5 marks for summary and 5 for short questions. Factual passage will be given in section 1. For main points or content points, you need to write in note form making at least 15 content points. Do not add details. If point is made in the wrong box, no mark will be awarded. For summary, write your summary using main points in continuous prose. Write summary in your own words. For short question and answer of section 1, read instructions properly. Do not tick more than one box if instructed. If examiner asks you about your opinion of experience, do not include examples mentioned in the passage. For section 2, reading for meaning, a quick review. In section 2, a narrative passage will be given. You need to understand the language both explicitly and implicitly. If the passage is written as first person narrative, you should answer it in third person only. In explicit questions, they might ask literal quotation, own words, and vocabulary questions. For literal questions, keyword in the question directs you towards the answer. You just need to find out that keyword. In quotation questions, a single word or phrase is to be pointed out in the passage. In own words question, you need to look for the keywords in the passage and replace them using their synonyms. In vocabulary questions avoid alternate responses. Meaning of a word should be according to the context of a line or paragraph. Okay, now grab a recent past paper 2 reading. Follow the instructions in the video and solve it now. In examination hall, be confident, read and analyze the questions carefully, and do your best. Thank you so much. Your feedback will be much awaited. You can inbox your feedback on my Facebook page. Stay tuned for GCE Business Studies videos.